I mean, in the midst of the action. What really happened? What were you trying to do, sir?
Well, just preventing our colleagues from taking over the seat of the speaker. I think it's not proper that the speaker is presiding. He's calling for his other, the deputy, to come and take over, and then they would attempt to take the chair away. I think it was not proper, and we're just preventing it from happening again, so that the proceedings could have continued, finish with the voting, take a decision, and then we'll move on.
They ended up shoving some of them off. I mean, about three of them.
We're not shoving each other.
Was that an attempt to protect the speaker's chair, or to really fight your colleagues?
No, we're not fighting. All the colleagues there are my friends.
The videos are there to show.
But it wasn't a fight. We were just preventing them from taking the speaker's chair. That's it. Thank you.
So Honorable, I know you heard the meeting. Okay, so Obiama is here, a senior member of the House, and Honorable Obiama is here. Well, he has declined to speak on the matter. We'll try and see if we can get some of the leadership of the NPP on this issue. Honorable, they just finished their meeting, as I mentioned. So Honorable Dan Boche and Carlos Ahinkra also here, having their own conversation. So this is the situation here in Parliament. Honorable Carlos Ahinkra, I was hoping I could engage you briefly on Joy, briefly he has declined to that, and so obviously he's not too happy with what's been happening this evening, and of course he shoved the microphone away, an indication that he's not ready to speak to me this evening on what's happening. Well, as I mentioned, the majority caucus were in a meeting, and now the leader himself has stepped out of the chamber. Majority leader, Honorable Sarah Joseph, also stepped out of the chamber, and it's very interesting, very fascinating. This is the majority leader of Parliament, Honorable Seche Mensah. Honorable, I mean, many Ghanaians are quite dumbfounded about what happened this evening, and some have said that this is a blot on the integrity of Parliament. This is the third time we're seeing acrimonious scenes in the chamber. How do we handle this, sir?
Most unfortunate, but you saw where this was coming from. How did you report it? I want to know how you reported it. Should it happen that any time there is violence, it's emanating from one side of the House? It's most unfortunate. It's a dent on parliamentary democracy. And I think that we should find a way to resolving this. Is it the case that if you don't have your way, if you can't debate with the brain, you must resort to brawn? Is that the case? That is not democracy. That is not democracy. Let's debate. Let's try to reach consensus. If we can't have consensus and we have to vote on matters, let's do so. But physicalities is never part of democracy. It's brain and not brawn. It's most unfortunate.
Right, I have engaged some of your colleagues on the other side, and then they are blaming the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament again for the second time for what happened in the chamber.
What is the reason?
Well, they are alleging and accusing him of engaging in illegality. Wanted to go and vote whilst presiding as a speaker, and they feel that is an illegality.
What is whilst presiding in the contest? What is your understanding of whilst presiding? I'm asking you. What is your view about whilst presiding?
I'm not here to share an opinion, but you are the majority leader.
Because of
you've been in the House
because of the slant in your reportage, as is usual. Because of the slant in your reportage, the person, is it the case that a speaker can't even excuse himself to visit the loo? Is it the case?
Was this the case?
The man was indisposed. He was shivering. And he went to the clinic. The record is there. So we had to persuade him to come and sit. He was in the chamber, and he was shaking like a leaf. We had to go and prevail on him to come and preside. Of course, if he's presiding, given his own long tenure in Parliament, his own understanding of the rules and procedures in Parliament, we thought that to be able to navigate crisis periods much more with respect to the second Deputy Speaker, much more than the second Deputy Speaker. But it was getting too much for him. So he said he wanted to excuse himself, to take his medication, and then perhaps to come back if he felt okay, or perhaps maybe to sit somewhere.
Just for clarity, so he was excusing himself not to come and engage in the voting that was going on?
What,
Is that a clarity?
what if he did? What if he did to take his medication, he came, voting was not over, and he thought that because somebody else was presiding, he could participate in that? What of that? Is that any illegality in that? There's no illegality. And you see, this whole thing, I think, is born out of what indications that we gave on the other paper. When Parliament, through a committee, has decided that a bill should be taken under a certificate of urgency, then the provision that the bill cannot be considered until 48 hours have elapsed should fall automatically. Which explanation is what the first deputy speaker was trying to proffer, that it ought not to have been stated on the order paper for us to even take a vote on. And people will not understand. You see, we need to learn parliamentary practice. It's not about shouting and brawn power. That's my difficulty.
I see. I saw you on the minority leader going to conclave shortly after you return the House adjourned to tomorrow 9 a.m. We're already in Tuesday, But then the question is that tomorrow, what happens? Have we now reached a consensus going forward?
Well, at the Finance Committee, I think that we really had attained some consensus on a number of issues that had come before us. And we had been together in fashioning the relevant amendments. There were two major matters that they wanted to raise in respect of, don't forget, the very bill itself. They said they were opposed to it. And then the rates, they said they were also opposed to the rate of 1.75. As far as they were concerned, they would like a zero rate system. The point is, if it's zero rating, then where's the bill? If you're saying that it should be zero rated, then where's the bill? What's the import of the bill? It goes to the heart and soul of the bill. So we're trying to negotiate that and find common ground. And we've made tremendous progress. So together we had fashioned, I think, about 4 or 5 other amendments. So apart from that major one, which was going to call for a vote, that is the necessity for the e-levy, thereafter we're going to go by consensus on the other proposals. The minority leader later also introduced his own set of amendments. And the amendments were that we should delete all the clauses. In other words, going back to ground zero, that the bill is not necessary, right? Point is, technically, if the bill is not necessary, you are saying that all the clauses should be deleted. We are left with nothing. So there's no bill. If there's no bill, why are you proposing amendments? But I think that we, because of the consensual attitude that we have employed, we still came together and fashioned those amendments. So I think we can make enough progress tomorrow. And I guess in an hour or maybe maximum 2 hours' time, we should finish with this and, adjourn the House sine die.
Has the Speaker communicated to you yet?
No, I called on a couple of occasions. I couldn't reach him. And I sent messages, including WhatsApp messages. I've not had any response. But certainly I will try to get in touch with him. And then,
you are a leader of this House. Did he communicate to you he's absent because Parliament was in session?
No, he didn't.
He didn't?
I rather did, but I didn't have a response from him. To be fair with him, one of his security persons indicated to me when I showed my own communication to him. He told me that, well, the Speaker doesn't read the communication. So he said he was going to give me his own number so that if I wanted to reach him, I'll call him, reach him, and then we'll go and show it to him. I don't know, maybe it's because of the fact that he's been giving him advice to take rest. So maybe he doesn't want to be disturbed or distracted. So the man intimated to me that from hence, if I want to engage him, I rather should be engaging him. Unfortunately, I didn't get to take his number, but tomorrow I'll see him, take it so that it will be easier to communicate.
That's enough, leader. Finally, for me, you have 3 more years to deal with the minority in the chamber. How do we resolve this issue about when there's a disagreement, you see the NPP, NDC in fisticuffs, exchanging blows. I mean, members of parliament.
The NDC, MPP started. You saw the people who moved from where?
It takes two to tango, two individuals to fight, two to dance, so in the same manner.
You want to protect yourself. So, that's natural. Somebody attempts to assault you, you want to defend yourself. You protect yourself or defend yourself. So who starts it is what matters. And that's why I ask you to be truthful in your reportage. Be truthful to what you see and behold. That will take you to heaven. Otherwise, you can't even find a place in purgatory. Thank you very much.
Well, so that's the majority. But Honorable Josepho, she's here. I mean, for the very first time, and I'm sure viewers are interested. Even though you said that you were in the chamber on the day the NDC alleged that you're not the one. I'm told that there's some investigations going on. Have you been contacted? What's been your response to the team?
I'm not aware of that because I was the one in the chamber, so I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Well, but you've heard the minority self-notice that they will probe the lady who was in the chamber at the time.
That is very funny for me because I've been in this house. I've been a leader of the house before, and I don't see why I should lie about my identity. And I know they know me. And you know our brothers on the other side are very good with liars. So, it's me.
I see. Now, briefly, let me pick your thought on what happened. What do you make of what happened just this evening? Briefly.
Leader has said it all. Not too good for the image of Parliament. So we should do better.
Thank you very much. That's the Dominic Member of Parliament, Sarah Josepho there. So the majority leader himself, Oseche Mr. Bonsu, is confident that tomorrow they will make progress. And, well, you saw the demonstration that it was the NDC who attempted to attack, and the NPP had to defend themselves. So he used me as a demonstration indicating that if I have to defend myself, then, of course, I would have to retaliate. Well, Parliament, as you can see now, closed. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., we are here, and the leader says they'll make progress. We'll be here and give the viewers all the latest updates on what happens tomorrow when Parliament reconvenes to continue with this sitting. I am Kwesi Parker-Wilson.